If you want to change your life, you must change your identity. You must change your identity in order to change your reality. And in this video, I'm going to explain why this is the number one most powerful way to finally attract the life that you know that you're meant to live. And it is very likely that if you haven't yet, or if you're in this process of trying and nothing is seeming to work, no matter how much effort you're putting in, it's because your belief systems have not changed. Your identity has not shifted because the world responds to who you are being. Life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. And when you can understand this and how it works, that is when you finally can take that power back and change your life. Getting straight into things, I want to talk about how to change it. And that is actually by realizing and creating that alter ego, that dream version of yourself. If you have a certain vision for your life, you first have to become the person that can sustain that. Because if you don't, you can attract the thing externally, but you're not going to be able to actually keep or maintain it. And that's why so many people, they do end up attracting and manifesting things, but it's all about maintaining it that then becomes the issue. Because if you haven't become that version of yourself, you're not going to be able to keep that reality. If you were your dream self, what would that look like? How would you walk around the world? What would your daily routines be, your daily habits? What are you eating? Are you exercising? What are you doing in your day-to-day? What are the kind of thoughts that you're telling yourself? How are you carrying yourself? How do you see yourself in this world? If you could name 5 good things about yourself and what you bring, what would they be? You need to get to know yourself first. And that all starts with reshaping who you are becoming every single day. And that is why embodiment is so extremely powerful, because when you can create that alter ego and that dream version of yourself, and you make that decision every single day to act from that version of yourself, that is how your life can change. And it's all about actually aligning your behaviors to your identity. The thing that people get wrong, and this is known as cognitive dissonance in psychology, is people try and match their identity to their behaviors. And this is wrong, because you need to actually create that alter ego first, and then ensure that the decisions you are making is coming from that version of yourself, that dream version of yourself. And the more that you actually match your behaviors to your identity, that dream identity, even when it's hard, even when it may be uncomfortable, when you make that active decision in your life every single day, and you make those micro decisions that start from that place of, what would my dream version of myself be doing? How would they tackle this certain challenge? What would they be doing when they wake up in the morning? How would they be talking to themselves? The more that you act from this place, the more that your brain starts to normalize it. And the more that your brain starts to normalize something, that is what makes it habitual in your life. And creating that dream version of yourself and acting from that place every single day is what is going to, over time, shift your identity. Examples of how I've done this is really simple. Let's take friendships, okay? So when I was a people pleaser, before I changed my self-concept, before I created this dream version of myself and what that would look like in my world, what I tolerate versus what I don't tolerate. And when I was seeking validation and I was less sure about myself and I was matching my identity to those behaviors, I continued to attract negative friendships, low-level friendships, and friendships that kept me stagnant, and people that reflected those same values back to me. Because like I said, your identity is what shapes your reality. So if you're entertaining that level, that is what you're going to get reflected back at you. But the moment that I stepped back, the moment that I started to have boundaries, the moment that I worked on myself, my self-concept, the values that I believe to have within myself, the beliefs that I carry every single day, knowing that I'm worthy, knowing that I am high value, knowing that I respect myself enough and I'm attracting the same, because that self-respect was more important than trying to repeat those same patterns and seek that same validation to live that same life and attract those same level of people. I did this as me, as the dream version of who I was becoming. And that is when I finally started to attract friendships that operated at that same frequency. Even my relationship that I'm in now, the same values were reflected back to me with these high value people that also had very strong, internally validating identities they carried within themselves. Because everything in life is frequency, everything in life is energy. And when you realize that if you want to attract a beautiful life externally, you need to change who you're being. You need to change who you're becoming. Those micro decisions is what is actually going to get you to live that dream life. And that is what I don't like about this self-development world is people overcomplicate things. Saying affirmations in the mirror if you don't believe those words, or journaling when you don't actually change what you believe or your belief systems, is not going to do anything for you. Those things can supplement when you're actually doing that inner work and changing who you believe yourself to be at every single moment. But it's not going to bring you any value if you're just doing them robotically and not actually changing your inner state of being. And that inner state of being, it comes from conviction. It comes from making that decision. It comes from creating that dream version of yourself, tapping in to your inner state and realizing that you absolutely can be that person. It's a decision. It's not that hard. I think people see changing your beliefs as something that is so difficult. And anything, when it's new to the brain and when it's unfamiliar, it can be uncomfortable. But the more that you repeat something, the easier that it becomes. So make this decision every single day from your dream self and watch how your life changes by just this one thing. And this actually goes back to a philosopher called Neville Goddard. And he talks about the law of assumption. And he talks about the more that you assume something to be true, the more that it hardens into fact. And the reason why this applies to creating this dream version of yourself and making those decisions from that dream version is because the more that you assume that that is who you are, the more that you embody that state of being every single day, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't come naturally at first, the more that you do it, the more that you rewire those limiting beliefs, the more that it becomes your reality. And that is exactly how your external world will reflect that back to you. And sometimes that means shedding the old version, shedding the old life in order to make space for the new. It all boils down to this fundamental fact that your reality isn't happening to you, it's created through you, it is created by you. And when you can understand this, when you can understand that the answer is simple, you just have to change yourself, work on yourself, change those limiting beliefs, do that healing, actually get to know yourself and who you are in this world and who you want to be. And the more that you act from that version of yourself and make that decision every single day, that is how you change your life. And that is how I've changed my life. And I've seen so many people change their lives and actually create that meaningful sustainability and change that lasts years and decades in their whole life just by changing your identity. All you need is that decision. All you need is that clarity of who do I want to be in this world? Realizing that it is possible for you. Creating a belief system that works in your favor. Seeing life as a game, because fundamentally life is a game. When you can really condition yourself to believe that things are possible, that you can absolutely live the life that you want to live, that it really starts with you versus you. It's not about what is happening outside of you. It is what is happening within you. And that is what is, as a byproduct, going to change what is happening around you as well. The life that I have attracted for myself is beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. And it all started with changing my identity. Who you assume yourself to be is who you are. And so you can read all the self-help books in the world. You can have all these TED Talks and motivational videos that you can be watching. But if you don't change who you are in this world, if it doesn't start with your identity changing, nothing is going to stick. Nothing is going to work. That is why you're stuck. That is why you're still on YouTube clicking and trying to find that secret key or answer to life. But that secret key is yourself. The moment that you change is when your life will change. The moment that you take that power back is when you will be able to externally attract that power within your life.